Hi, Thalheimer here, and as promised, I've been discussing the American Dlx Strat Plus guitar, which I have right here. I've had it a couple months now, and I have been promising everyone on the Fender forum to kind of give it a review and discuss it. And to help me with this is my good friend Manny. He, like myself, loves guitars and especially Stratocasters. And if anyone's ever watched my American Standard video, his guitar is the guitar that I was reviewing. And this is the American Standard from the late 80s and through the 90s, and then was later replaced by the American series, and not the current production model. His was what, a 91, 92?
91, 92.
Roughly speaking. So let's get into the guitar. Now, this guitar is part of the American Deluxe series. So it's going to have some locking tuning keys. It's going to have the Fender N3 noiseless pickups. It has a compound radius neck, which is, I believe, 9 inches to 14 inches, something like that. Now, some of the things it doesn't have that the normal Deluxe series guitar would have, many of the Deluxe series guitars have the LRS nut.
LSR.
Thank you. LSR nut. I'm always getting that messed up. Which is a roller nut to help relieve friction on the nut area. It has. It also doesn't have the contoured heel like the Deluxe series Strats would have. Also, it doesn't have the powdered pressure-made saddles. This has the vintage bent steel saddles that are the kind of the American Standard and most of your Fender guitars now. So let's get going into what this guitar does have. It has locking tuning keys, which are staggered with only one string tree. It has a 2-point vibrato. It has the compound radius. It has this beautiful, would you agree this is a stunning, and I say stunning.
I would be, I exuberantly agree. You have to see this in person to believe it. If you see the highlights, it's just...
This finish is just ungodly.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful blue metallic flake thing.
This guitar comes in 2 finishes. It did come in a black finish, metallic black finish, but that was done away with. But it comes in 2 finishes. This mystic ice blue metallic. In the video, it'll look kind of a grayish blue. It's really, really blue. I mean, it's blue and it's icy. It's mystic. It's a mystic ice blue metallic. And then it also comes in a mystic sunburst, which, again, as I've said with the Antigua burst, either you like it or you don't. I'm not feeling it.
Is that what we saw earlier today?
Yeah, that was.
Didn't like it.
Yeah, it's got this gold aluminum look about it. It's almost like they made a sunburst over silver aluminum.
Didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. It's not. It may be somebody's taste. It's not mine. So you can get it 2 colors. If you want a rosewood fretboard, that comes with the HSS model, and with the SSS model, triple S if you will, you get a maple neck. And if I was going to make any, like, one big change, I would love to have a rosewood fretboard on this guitar. Also, with the rosewood fretboard, you don't get the abalone inlay. So, and I really like that.
The maple.
No,
right?
or the maple neck. You don't get the abalone. The normal Deluxe series guitars, you get the abalone inlay.
Gotcha.
On this, you just get black dots. I would really like to have had the abalone inlay. I think it's cool. So, but the big thing, the thing that sets this guitar head and shoulders above any other guitar in the Fender catalog right now is the fact that all these electronics are are solderless. That's right. No solder went into putting this guitar together. It's all done by circuit boards. So all these pickups, you can unplug them and plug them in without even raising your soldering iron. You leave that soldering in a box somewhere. Same with the pots. Everything is plugged in. Pretty cool.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, solderless wire. The future. Apparently, there are some companies that have been doing it for a while, actually. Fender, they're kind of new to that. All right, so the other thing is it also has this compartment back here, which, oddly enough, would you say could fit a 9-volt battery? Pretty comfy.
Probably.
Yeah. I hear Clapton Strat qualities going into this guitar. Anyway,
that's a rumor that he just made up.
Yeah, I just made that up. Don't quote me on that. Don't go Fender going, hey, when are we getting the mid-range boost for this guitar? I have no idea. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do it. So the guitar comes with 3 cards. You get the standard card. And the standard card makes it sound like a Stratocaster, as you might expect. 3 pickups, 5 positions, tone, treble, like the whole ball of wax. Then you have the cutter card. And what they do is, it goes in like this. You follow the shape, you plug it in, pop it in, and you're done. You have now rewired the guitar. The cutter card, what it does is it makes these tone knobs a treble and bass cut, which means you can thicken the sound, remove your treble, remove your high end, remove your low end, and really modify the tones of this guitar. And you got to mess around with this. What were your thoughts on that whole idea?
I really like it. It was took a little bit of getting used to, but once I started getting the hang of it, it started to get a little bit more intuitive.
It's a little confusing at first.
A little bit, yeah, but
because your brain's used to tone knobs.
That's right. After about 15 minutes of goofing around with it,
and several hours of counseling.
That's right. Yeah, it became a little bit more apparent what these cards do. This one is my favorite of the 2 cards.
Really?
Yeah. It's,
okay.
It's the cutter. It's the
cutter.
The cutter. That's right. Not so much the blend.
This card is the blend card, and what this does is when you pop this in, again you've rewired the guitar. Imagine this as if it were a big intersection, and the traffic cop has now changed the traffic pattern altogether. This card allows you to use in position 1 and 5, the bridge and neck pickup together. In position 4 and 2, you get to have all 3 pickups. Now, well, what the heck does that mean? Your 1 and 5 are the same? No. Different pickups get a little more voicing than the others. So in this position, this pickup is a little louder than this one. But once you turn the blend knob up, now you get them more balanced. And you can alter that any way you like it, from very little to a lot. And the same goes for the other direction. Now, the bridge pickup is much more pronounced than the neck pickup. And again, bridge has more pronouncement than all 3. And you can blend those any way you like. And this knob becomes a treble cut, just like the cutter card. Pretty sweet. I really dig this card. I bought the guitar because I totally loved that sound. And I think it's a very versatile card.
Ironically, though, I don't think it's nearly as versatile as the other one.
That's interesting.
So I think it might
you'd be wrong like that.
Well, that might very well be the case. Well, if I agreed with you, then both of us would be wrong. but for what I like to do, more ambient sounding stuff, not so much lead guitar work. I really like the idea of having the cutter card just because it gives me more tonal possibilities, like sonic possibilities. I guess they're all tonal possibilities. But sometimes I like to bury the guitar in the mix tonally, just to lay a foundation of reverbs and echoes and stuff.
Well, besides these cards, you get this nice case, holds 3 cards here, and oddly enough, it holds 3 cards here. Now, I've talked with Fender, and supposedly, sometime in the future, there's going to be quite a few more. And I personally see a lot of the S1 switch qualities getting into these cards with reverse, what is it?
Phase.
Out of phase.
In phase.
Yeah. All these different sound wiring qualities that Fender does with their Stratocasters. You also get a little instruction manual.
A little anemic, if you ask me.
Yeah, it looks like it could use a little more information. Now, granted, Manny figured it out pretty quickly because he read the directions. I only look at pictures, so I didn't figure it out right away. Oddly enough, the guy who was trying to sell me the guitar, because I didn't buy it from him, I bought it online at Sweetwater. Thanks, guys at Sweetwater. They're awesome. When I was looking at it, he had no idea what to do with this.
And this was in a brick and mortar store?
Yeah, this was a big chain store, which will be remain nameless. And that chain store rep, nice guy, just was clueless really how to use the guitar, what these did. He looked at this a little confused. And it's not quite intuitive. You have to really do a little investigation. The last thing I would like to say about these cards is they have little dip switches. Now, 2 of the dip switches deal with the capacitors, and you get a different voicing of the capacitor. The other 2 dip switches deal with treble bleed. Now, I'm not an expert on treble bleed, and Manny has a lot more experience with it. So why don't you explain very briefly what treble bleed is?
Well,
how it works.
The way I have it working on my treble, well, I've got it set up as a mod to my volume pot. And it's basically a change in capacitance, resistance, where as you roll down on the volume pot on my other guitars, and it seems to be the same on here, it allows more of the higher frequencies to cut through as the lows and the mids kind of go away. It's got the effect of, for me personally, I set up distortions where if I roll back on the treble bleed, then the treble that comes through kind of cleans up the distortion, makes it more like an overdrive, and then if I'm using overdrive, it kind of just cleans it up altogether. Very useful, I think.
Well, I've noticed that what happens, and many other players might know this, like if I want to roll off on the vintage Stratocasters, the back tone knob does not work with the bridge pickup. It's straight through. It makes it very clean, very crisp. But sometimes it's a bit too much. So I find that just backing off the volume down to 9, you lose a little output, but you cut off some of that treble. And I think that's what the treble bleed is doing, is preventing that from happening.
It's something like that. It's the way I've got it wired up on mine, and again, bear in mind this is limited experience with this particular instrument right now, but it seems fairly similar, is that if you do the treble bleed mod on a conventional volume pot, normally it will no longer behave as a conventional pot. So you can go from 0 to fairly loud at 3, maybe 4. So the volume drop that you'd get at, say, 8 or 9 on a regular standard stock volume knob will definitely not be the same volume drop that you would get with something with a treble bleed. Nice. So it's different.
The last thing I want to talk about, as far as what the guitar comes with, it also comes with your usual strap and a little service manual, the usual goodies in the bag, wipe-off cloth, and this really beautiful case. This is very similar to the vintage 1960s, late 60s Fender case with the chrome Fender logo and stuff. Really nice case.
I like Space 2009, don't you think?
Yeah.
Monolith.
Anyway, so that's all I'm going to say about the guitar right now. We're going to go into video 2 and give the actual demonstration. Manny's going to play the guitar. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. In our 3rd video, we're going to kind of go over our final thoughts, and that's about all. Yeah. So see you in a few minutes.